Here's my argument as to why the New Orleans Saints, my team, mind you, are the worst team in the NFL right now. There's a lot that you can look at here. You can look at their talent on the board. You can look at what they have coming up for them. You can look at their money. If you come to the New Orleans Saints, you want to talk about money. I think there's a bit of an issue there. So let's talk about the Saints' problems. Problem number one, their entire team is hella old. They have not been able to replace their old guys with young guys yet. And while the young guys on their roster are fine, there's not enough of them to really hold up for the next couple years when Demario Davis probably going to be gone. Cam Jordan probably going to be gone. Two or three of the offensive linemen probably going to be gone. Tyrann Mathieu probably going to be gone. All those guys, especially on defense, who are going to end up leaving because A, the team's not winning, and B, they're just getting old and want to retire. So you see what you have in your young guys and use them. I don't understand why they can't decide to take defensive players that are young in the draft, put them in. Well, actually, I do know why. Because they can't decide we're rebuilding yet. They cannot pick between, do we want to try for the playoffs or do we want to rebuild? Let's see what we get. And that's never going to work. You see, 2023, the New Orleans was 9-8. Nothing crazy, but 9-8. Okay. This year they're 5-12 with a very similar roster. Nothing crazy. Olave getting hurt and everybody else under the sun getting hurt. And this team going into week 5, I think, was 3-2. And that's not something that you can be like, oh, they suck about. But for a team that wasn't expected to do that well, 3-2 was nice. Oh, 3-2. 3 wins. Feel like I don't know that number. Right, because Dennis Allen couldn't get 3 wins in 9 games. So we fired him. Awesome. Now Darren Rizzi's going to be in. He's going to give us a ton of victories, right? 3 wins in 8 games. We went 5-12. It's a bad record to have. 2 out of your first 9 games were wins. Awful last year. But I'm done talking about last year. I'm talking about the future. We hire Kellen Moore. Okay, it's a good move. He's a pretty good offensive coordinator from a Super Bowl winning team, literally on Sunday. What does he have to work with? Spencer Rattler, unproven. Chris Olave, injury prone. Alvin Kamara, getting up there in age. The Saints defense, getting up there in age. And the Saints have a bazillion problems that they need to solve. Cap space is one of the biggest issues I've ever seen for any NFL team. Let's look at the Saints cap space right now. Now, for those of you who don't understand what cap space is, they need to figure out what amount of money they can spend in the cap to be on the limit for the league. And you get penalized if you are over the limit. So if we look at the New Orleans Saints, they are negative $54,112,537 in cap space. Minus $60 million back. The next team is like minus 20 million, and I think it's Cleveland. Let me look. Cleveland Browns cap space 2025. Let's see what they are. They have negative 30 million, and they're second. The Saints have 20 million less negatively than the Cleveland Browns. It's cap hell in New Orleans. They may have hosted the Super Bowl, but they are not hosting any games in the playoffs for a long time because they're not going to make the playoffs. With this roster, with the coaching, which, Kellen Moore could be that guy, but we don't know yet. Apparently, we're looking at one of the worst defenses in the league for our defensive coordinator. 2023 Rams defense. 2022 Rams defense. Might be that guy. I'm just saying. I don't understand it. I think probably fire GM. She's not great. she's a good person, but I just don't think it's working. I really don't like the situation for the Saints right now. And that's why I consider them the worst team in the league. Because if you look at the other teams in the league, they have stuff to look forward to. Teams who are in the top 8 picks get the top 8 best players in the league. But after that, it's a bit of a fall off after 8, really after 5 or 6. But the teams at 6 or 7 have things to look forward to themselves. The Jets are at 7. They have a weird situation with what they want to do. They do have talented guys. They might also be in a bad situation, but they're not as bad of a situation as Nolan's, because they can trade Aaron Rodgers. They can get value for him. They can trade some of their stars if they want to do a rebuild, which is something that the Saints have not been able to figure out how to do. Just do a rebuild. You guys have sucked ever since Breeze retired. So do a rebuild, get talented players, win. But they can't figure out how to just, okay, we're going to, get rid of some of these guys. Hopefully they can go win a ring somewhere else, or at least win a playoff game. But we just need to refocus our attention right now. Get rid of our veterans who are going to be retiring in like 2-3 years anyways. Restructure deals so that we have some money. Cut Derek Carr immediately. Honestly, I was going to say I like the guy as a person. I do not, because the Super Bowl is coming into New Orleans and you are nowhere to be seen. Jameis Winston, who is the greatest dude ever, by the way, is the only guy being there, not the starting Saints quarterback to promote Saints football. Great job, Derek. Cut him. Get rid of Tyron. Get rid of Cam. Get rid of DeMario. I love them as people and I love them as players, but it's time to rebuild. It is time to tank this year. Get a top 3 pick. Get somebody good in the draft. Please, I would love Archie Manning if that's possible. But I pray that they can figure out how to tank so that this team can be good someday. Because for right now, they are the worst team in the league with nothing to look forward to.